All right, what up? What up? All right, tonight's lesson is gonna be called standing on business. All right, so this is for the men once again. You know what I'm saying? So first, we're gonna jump it off. We're gonna talk about this book right here. So I got this book right. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I haven't read this whole book, but every once in a while I open it up. You know what I'm saying? I run across something. So tonight I ran across something in the book that told me that it's time for a lesson. So I'm gonna read y'all a little chapter out the book real quick, and then we're gonna get right into the lesson. But just know it's tied in with that, so it's gonna all make sense. I'm gonna make it make sense if it don't. You know what I'm saying? You won't leave confused. I got you. So look, this chapter right here is chapter 30, and I want to say this. The reason I even bought this book was I was watching a Nipsey Hussle interview a few years back, a couple years ago probably, and he was speaking about how Lauren London had bought him this book, and he recommended this book, so I went and grabbed it. I even recommended it to my homeboy, you know what I'm saying, and it worked out for him too. So what she wants is not what she says. That's the name of this chapter. So sometimes a woman will make a request of her man in plain English, not to get him to do something, but to see if he is so weak that he will do it. So in other words, she is testing his capacity to do what is right, not what she's asking for. Let me say that again. She's testing his capacity to do what is right, not what she is asking for. In such cases, if a man does what his woman asks, she will be disappointed and angry. The man will have no idea why she is so angry or what could possibly please her. He must remember that her trust is engendered not by him fulfilling her request, but by him magnifying love, consciousness, and success in their lives in spite of her request. So that's meaning sometimes she's just testing you, bro, to see if you're gonna stand on business. You know what I'm saying? That's breaking that all the way down. Sometimes she might ask for one thing, but that's just to see if you're gonna stand on business, to see if she can trust you. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get into that in this lesson. So we're gonna start it off with gaslighting, all right? So, it's a lot of forms of gaslighting, but we talking about gaslighting your wordplay. All right, sometimes you can be having a conversation, and this don't just go for women, this can go for people in general. You can look at this as something that can play out in a lot of different scenarios. So let's say you tell somebody something, right? And then during conversation, then they regurgitate what they thought you said, but the wordplay just not the same. So they saying, well, you said this, you said, and you like, don't agree. You can't see if you agree to what they said you said, knowing that that's not what you said, you'd have been stepped on. You're not standing on business. So what you have to do, and I ain't saying you gotta be aggressive about it. I ain't saying you gotta be all hostile about it. You just let it be known, like, that's not exactly what I said. I said something like that, but that's not what I said. You know what I'm saying? So she can know, like, okay, and she might even try to overtalk you at that because she don't want to be corrected, right? So you can just get quiet until it's your time to talk, and then you state that that's not what I said. This is what I said. This is what I meant. I don't want you, switching up my wordplay, basically. You know what I'm saying? So that's a form of gaslight when people change your wordplay and say you said one thing even though you said something different. Stand on business and make sure that you get your point across. This is what I said for this reason. You know what I'm saying? So you let that be known with understanding so it won't be no confusion. And you won't have to conform to agreeing that you said something that you actually didn't say. That's standing on business, all right? So number 2, saying things to get you out of character. She might come at you sideways. She might call you out your name. She might say something that's going to affect you emotionally, right? But see, men, we're not supposed to be operating out our emotions anyway, so let's just look at it like this. Now, if you step into your emotions for good reason, okay, so let's say somebody call you out your name or something like that. Well, first of all, you don't want to have to lower yourself because somebody's saying something to try to get you out of your character. You know what I'm saying? Now you're stepping outside yourself, right? We're not stepping outside ourselves. So this is a form of emotional manipulation tactics. She's seeing if she can get you to budge. She or anybody, you know what I'm saying? They trying to see if they can get you to step out, get you in your feelings, basically. You know what I'm saying? Which is a sign of weakness. But no, we're not gonna get out of it. We're not gonna be in our feelings. We're gonna operate from facts and logic. That's masculine energy. You know what I'm saying? So the solution to when somebody say things to get you out your character would be do not react. Operate from facts and logic. All right, that's simple. So And how do you operate from facts and logic? When somebody say something to get you out of character, they might be like, well, you this or you that. And you knowing in your head like, that ain't me. You ain't gotta be like, nah, don't say that about whoop, whoop, whoop. If you know it's facts that you ain't know bitch, what you getting mad for? Why are you getting mad? They can say what they want to say. You know what I'm saying? Sticks and stones, bro. Sticks and stones. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you gotta let it, if anything, you can stand on business by saying, no, I'm not. I'm not no bitch. I appreciate it through communication, so you ain't gotta get angry, right? Because we're gonna do two things with anger: burn bridges or set boundaries. You can set the boundary. I would appreciate it if you didn't come at me like that, because if you continue to do that, I'm gonna have to distance myself so it won't be any consequences, which can be a negativity, right? So that's how you go about that. And remember, that's a form of emotional manipulation tactics. When somebody's trying to say something to get you out of your character, you want to stay in your character, stand on business in your facts and logic, peace and power. You see what I'm saying? So, number 3, ultimatums. They might try to hit you. Let's say a woman try to hit you with that ultimatum. She might hit you with a threat. Well, if you don't do this, this was gonna happen. That's a threat. We don't do threats. First of all, we don't do threats, especially if we stand on business and we know that the way we going about is the right thing to do. Just stand on business. Cause look, this is what might happen. She might try to get you to put that vagina, that vajayjay on a pedestal, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a trophy or something. You gotta let it be known. Like when it comes to standing on business and my self-worth versus me getting some of that ain't as important as me standing on business and honoring my self-worth, right? So you gotta understand, like, I ain't even worried about that. I'm just gonna stand on business. There is no ultimatums, because I am the truth, and this is my truth. This is what I'm standing on. You get what I'm saying? So you be operational from that point of view. You get what I'm saying? So don't let them say, well, if you don't do this, you won't get this. Well, I'm gonna stand on business. And when it comes time for me to release tension, I'm just knowing it's either gonna happen or it's not. Hey, I can't lose no sleep over something like that. Now, if too much time go by and you still not trying to let me get there because you don't like where I'm coming from, you don't want to not even conform, but just fall in line, then maybe I need to move around and find somebody that's on my level. That's how that go. You know what I'm saying? So that's number 3, ultimatums. So number 4, understanding versus confusion. See, so when you standing on business, you want to make sure that your partner or whoever the case may be has an understanding of where you coming from. Because if it's coming from a place of confusion, that can lead to strife. That can lead to all this negative behavior. That can lead to the gaslighting, to the saying things to get you out your character. You know what I'm saying? Emotional manipulation tactics. You can even let them know that it is emotional manipulation tactics, because they might be unconscious of the things they doing. But if you stand on business and let the truth be known, now they can have understanding of what they doing and where you coming from. You see what I'm saying? Through communication. That's what we do, through communication. And look, that don't mean get all loud. Like that's another thing. We're gonna get to that in a minute though. Just know it's arguments versus disagreements. We don't argue. We can agree to disagree. And we can talk about it later or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to be confused. Just find understanding. Just know this. Confusion means further analysis is required. If somebody's confused, that means further analysis is required so they can find understanding. So we can have a balanced relationship in peace, joy, and happiness. We can find understanding so that love won't lead to fear, which is, fear and resentment. So fear and resentment turns into hate. Hate is a byproduct of fear and resentment. So we want to stay on the other side and operate from love and understanding, not confusion and fear and resentment. Because see, fear leads to somebody trying to control something. See what I'm saying? Now, if they trying to control something for positivity out of fear, that's okay. Now, if they trying to control something in a negative way, that's not okay. So you can use your imagination on that one. So that's number 4, understanding versus communication. When it comes to standing on business, you want to make sure that they understand why you are standing on business clearly, with clarity. Understood? All right. So moving on to the next one. Restructuring the environment. All right. Now, this is a tricky one, all right? Because, I know you done heard people say, like, you can't close a door once it's been open. That's a lie. I'm not even going to say that's a lie. It's just false. It's just false. Like, it's easy. I can literally go, I want you to get up right now, find the nearest door, open it, look at it for 5 seconds, and then close it. That's proof right there that you can actually close a door that's been open. That's all the proof you need. You know what I'm saying? So the same way you can do that physically, you can do that mentally. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is a little bit of understanding. So sometimes, but look, understand this. When you're trying to restructure the environment, doing new things in the household, maybe it's hard to close one door and open another one because a trust factor. They're like, okay, well, I trust this. Okay, let's say your partner, she trusted that you was doing one thing and now you switching that up. So it's confusing her, but she got a little bit of understanding, but she can't trust it yet, right? So you gotta re-earn that trust. All right, so look, why do you have to re-earn that trust? Because this the code. This how I go. With no trust comes no respect. With no respect comes no submission. With no submission comes no control. So if she can't trust that you're gonna be operating from that, then you ain't gonna have no control over her doing that with you. Ain't gonna be no balance there. She not finna fall in line with that because she don't trust that. So how you gonna get her to trust that? By being operational. You operate from that new structure, and now when she see you operating and walking that line, she can fall in line, right? All right then. So just look at it from that point of view. You want to make sure that she trusts this new level of structure, and she see you operating from that new level of structure consistently. That you doing that consistently on a regular basis. So now she can see that, oh, and it's working for you. Now she can be like, okay, I'm gonna operate like he operating because she got respect for you, right? Now that she trusts you, she got respect for you. Now she gonna submit to that new way, that new structure. Now you got a level. Now you got control. You see what I'm saying? And it's not based off fear. It's based off understanding. So here's the solution. Re-earn trust through aligned actions with the new structure, like I just said. And so you gotta remember, and this is a peaceful state. So we got structure and flow. To get from structure to flow, the flow that means the ball rolling. We in that thing now. It's gonna take aligned action. All right. So that's how they go. Rewind it if you ain't understand. Check it out. So, last but not least, where we at? Testing boundaries. Last but not least, testing boundaries. So check it. Overstepping boundaries is a sign of disrespect that may lead to anger. Remember what I said we do with anger, right? Burning bridges or setting boundaries. So further communication or distance may be required. Now let's just say you communicated your boundary already, right? Then they tested that boundary, right? And you look at that as a form of disrespect. You can re-communicate. You don't have to necessarily just distance yourself, especially if you love your partner. You want them to grow with you, right? So you just gotta put a little bit more effort in. So further communication is necessary. Now, if you're dealing with somebody that just ain't got no mind, they don't want to talk, all of that, you might just have to distance yourself until once they can feel that you're not around because they can't have an honest conversation with you. Now, when they calling you to come back and all that, like, look, when I come back, we're going to have that conversation. I can't have you overstepping these boundaries because this is a new structure I'm operating from, whether you hear or not. See what I'm saying? So look, now, both parties should reach understanding through communication. All right? Both parties should reach understanding through communication. In this communication, no arguments, only disagreements. We can agree to disagree until further analysis is required. But it won't be no testing, no boundaries. Even if you disagree, you can still fall in line until you understand. You get what I'm saying? You ain't got to be confused about it. You might not like it, but you understand it. See what I'm saying? See, that's how that go. And now that you know they understand it, you standing on business. Now, if levels of confusion come up, communication kicks in. We can talk about it. We can get to the next level. Now you can trust me even more because I help you get more understanding. And what we say, trust leads to respect. Respect leads to submission. Submission leads to control. And the other way around too. If you lose her trust, you're going to lose her respect. You're going to lose her submission. And you're going to lose that control. All right, I think I talked about this in the other video too. So that's standing on business for y'all. I hope this makes sense. I'll show you.